You're watching the News Hour at 9.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fine morning, Rahul Gandhi decided to pull out his cell phone out of his pocket and decided to send a message to the nation. Before I tell you how naive, unresearched and self-defeating this Congress message from the Congress Scion could be, please listen in to his message released by the Congress Party.
भाइयों और बहनों, चीन ने हिंदुस्तान के शस्त्रहीन सैनिकों की हत्या करके एक बहुत बड़ा अपराध किया है। मैं पूछना चाहता हूं, इन वीरों को बिना हथियार खतरे की ओर किसने भेजा और क्यों भेजा? कौन जिम्मेदार है?
Well, now let me tell you all the facts on the case, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Rahul Gandhi has been attacking and doubting our army braves for far too long. And to such an extent that External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar today himself decided to send out a stinging and a pointed fact check for the Congress Party. Rahul Gandhi and his party have constantly been asking why our braves were sent to oversee the retreat of the Chinese soldiers without any arms. And Mr. Jaishankar informed him that all troops on the border always carry their arms with them. The Congress in their attacks also seem to be suggesting that it was the center which asked our army men to leave their posts unarmed. After which Mr. Jaishankar, the Foreign Affairs Minister, reminded Mr. Rahul Gandhi that the reason which arms were not used is because it has been a long-standing practice not to use firearms during face-offs at the border. And to these repeated charges and criticisms, Mr. Jaishankar responded in one crisp line, reminding Rahul Gandhi of the key pacts that India and China have signed, due to which firearms were not used despite the situation. And if that wasn't clear, let me spell out the facts for you. Mr. Rahul Gandhi, on the News Hour tonight, I want you to know the facts of the case. An agreement was signed between India and China in 1996, which said that neither side shall open fire within 2 kilometers of the line of actual control. Does Rahul Gandhi want our braves to break this pact? Another was signed in 2005 under the UPA government. And in 2005, Mr. Rahul Gandhi was a member of parliament. His mother, Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, was the chairperson of the National Advisory Council, wielding power over the Dr. Manmohan Singh government. And in this year, 2005, the government reiterated the agreement that was signed in 1996. Has Mr. Rahul Gandhi forgotten that? And the third agreement was signed, surprise, surprise, by the Congress Party in 2013, saying that both sides would prevent exchange of fire along the line of actual control. Clearly, Mr. Rahul Gandhi did not find it convenient to take any of this into account because facts very often escape him. So, ladies and gentlemen, the legitimate question on the News Hour tonight is just one. Will the Congress Party and Mr. Rahul Gandhi apologize for betraying our braves time after time after time? That's the question and big debate. Congress betrays braves. Coming up on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And joining me on the debate tonight, Dr. Sambit Patra, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, Sushant Sareen, Senior Fellow at the ORF, Tanveer Ahmed, National Spokesperson of the JDS, Tehseen Poonawala, Political Analyst, Suneet Chopra, also from the CPIM, and Political Analyst, Ashutosh, Senior Journalist. But my first question goes to this gentleman who has given us facts, and the facts that we broke on Times Now at 6 p.m. this evening. Retired Lieutenant General D.B. Shekatkar. Lieutenant General G.B. Shekatkar, the man who has opened a Pandora's box on the UPA's multiple agreements with the Chinese. Lieutenant General Shekatkar, earlier in the evening you told us on Times Now on how you were involved in the 1993 agreement. Can you share with the new viewers of the News Hour tonight what exactly transpired when you were working on the draft of this resolution between 1993 and 1996?
I was very closely involved in drafting and other issues of the 1993 Peace and Tranquility Agreement. It was the joint working group, and I was representing the Army headquarters. I was the Deputy Director General of Military Operations then, and the draft came and we were working on that. So that was joint working group which I was part of. And when the agreement was signed, when Honorable Prime Minister was there, Narasimha Rao ji, thereafter they appointed an expert group to deal with the boundary issues only. Thereafter, I was in loop, though did not participate in 1996 because I was combating terrorism in Kashmir that time. I was the Major General. But I was being consulted that time as to how did we work on that issue. So that there is a linkages between the 93 and 96 agreement also. You will find a lot of similarity between the two. And that time also, the thrust was, let us prevent further conflict. That was the main thing. If you see the wording of the first 7 clause of 1993, you will find the thrust is, do not increase the violence. Keep away from the line of control. In fact, we wanted to include one word. Instead of only line of control, we say existing line of control. Existing line of control. The Chinese objected to it. They said, no, we do not agree. And we said, no, it is a good thing, because if you had used that word, existing line of control, then there was no scope for Chinese to ingress into Indian territory. That was the basic aim. But for some reason, of course, diplomats have their own way. They are more qualified. They must be taking the things. And the discussion took place. When the army chief was, he said, look, I can't do it. I can't change it. My army chief will have to give the clearance for this. And I was taught English. And I was reminded of dictionary. And dictionary meaning. What is the difference between line of control and existing line of control? I said there is a hell of a difference. Mr. Jain Dikshit was the foreign secretary then. Mr. Jain Dikshit was the foreign secretary. A very fine person. Mr. Shiv Shankar Menon was the joint secretary East that time. A very capable person. Mr. Ashok Kant, who became the ambassador to China, now he is heading a think tank in China. He was the director. And we all were in loop. We were working on that. We discussed. Chinese refused. They went back all the way to Beijing that we will not allow inclusion of the word existing. If we had agreed that time, all this ingressing would not have taken place for some reason. Okay. Then there was no temptation for anybody to alter.
Okay. Okay. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, do you think any diplomat should actually start teaching English to an army man whose job it is to protect India's borders, and tell him that he doesn't understand the difference between existing line of control and line of control? Or do you think this is the kind of parlance that is used between diplomats to just get past and get agreements signed, not looking at what the country really needs, ambiguity or clarity?
Yeah, good evening, Navika. No, of course, and these are shocking revelations, It takes me back to the days of the Sharm el-Sheikh agreement, if you remember, where despite all logic to the contrary, the Indian side included Baluchistan in its Indian Pak agreement. Sushant will tell you more about that treachery. But today, you started off with the news about Rahul Gandhi and his ignorance. So what I really want to know is that who has Rahul Gandhi signed an agreement with? That he comes unarmed with facts on a daily basis. It sure appears to be a Faustian pact, but with one difference. One doesn't know who is imparting wisdom and who is the devil. How is it that this guy doesn't know that our soldiers cannot use arms because of a 1996 agreement with China that says neither side can open fire guns or use explosives within 2 kilometers of the LAC? Who is advising him? Tehseen. And who was the Prime Minister on April 11, 2005 when another Indo-China agreement was signed that affirmed the binding nature of the 1996 agreement? And before Tehseen starts hailing an auto like a man displaying symptoms of Parkinson's, let me assert that the last person and the last party imploring Modi to speak up should be him and his. Given that both have been totally silent on thousands of incidents and issues the nation would have wanted them to speak on, and they maintain silence to this day on China occupying 640 square kilometers of eastern Ladakh during the UPA, as disclosed by the UPA's own Foreign Secretary Sham Saran, or between 2010 and 2013 when China made nearly 600 incursions into the Indian side. Zipped. This is the time for nation to come together, for heaven's sake, and not fall apart, encouraged by bombastic and specious Twitter rants. I'm sorry, of an arrested adolescent nagging about things he has no idea of. He should learn a thing or two from Mrs. Mayawati, who has been very graceful and supportive of Indian armed forces in battling this situation.
Well, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, this is not the entire revelation. Let me go back to Lieutenant General Kanetkar, and I want to ask you, sir, is it a coincidence? You've mentioned a few names. And Sushant Sareen, I want you to pay attention to these names that he's mentioned. J.N. Dikshit, Foreign Secretary, at the time you were working on the draft. And you said Shiv Shankar Menon was the Joint Secretary East. I want to ask you, Lieutenant General Saab, is it a coincidence that Congress government in 1993 makes one agreement, in 1996 it's a government by H.D. Devegowda with Congress supporting it from outside, and the same gentlemen involved in the agreement, and these gentlemen then go on to take senior positions in the UPA government. J.N. Dikshit first as security advisor till January 2005 when he passed away, and then of course M.K. Narayanan comes, and after that, soon after that, Shiv Shankar Menon. Is this all a complete coincidence that the dramatis personae are the same between 1993 and 2013, Lieutenant General?
Madam, as I said initially also kindly, I wouldn't like to comment on the personality as such. But certainly the point still remains. At that time also, there was a representative from the MOD also. They were there. It is not that I was the only one from the army headquarters. There was the MOD representative also. The fact remains that in case if we are in a hurry to please the Chinese or to make the Chinese more comfortable, we suffer. Our nation suffers. Allow me to say, I am not casting any expectation, please, for God's sake. I do not belong to any party. I have nothing to do with the politics. I am living my life, whatever God has given me, and I don't know what will happen tomorrow morning. The fact remains, we have in India certain people for whom the Chinese interests are more important. For some reason, whatever reason it can be. Not they have been sold to China. Oh, but they say, what will China think? After they're a great power, a great economy, they're our neighbors. Look at what are we talking about? Are we talking about ourselves or are we talking about them? That's all right. In diplomatic channels, certainly you have to take all these factors into consideration. I have also negotiated. I have dealt with the Chinese delegations, army delegations. At Bumla, there is a meeting. Somebody said where the weapons are taken. All these border personnel meetings take place. Nobody brings weapon there. They don't believe. In Nathula, in Bumla, and other places, even in 0 Point where the other day the meeting took place, they don't carry weapons there. It's a you can say the code of conduct, and it is a part of, I think, 2006 or 2005 agreement that weapons will not be carried there. But for some reason, if we start casting aspersions on the capacity, capability, and endurance of your army, which is the only representative today of our nation on those heights, getting drowned in the river, dead bodies are coming back from there. Who else is there? Who is representing India there? A brigadier or a major general or a lieutenant general or a colonel? These are the people who are dealing with them. Of course, they are supported, supplemented from Delhi political leaders. There is no doubt about it. Diplomacy will take place. My request to you for your consideration is military diplomacy throughout the world, it as importantly as parallel running on the conventional diplomacy. The modern railway will run on these two tracks, military diplomacy and political conventional diplomacy. If you separate these two, this is what will happen. We are suffering today. We ignored the request or the advice. So therefore, there is a need, at least in India, at the governmental level, whatever level it is, to start involving the military diplomacy or the military expert on such issues, whether you are dealing with China, whether you are dealing with Pakistan, whether you are dealing anybody else. Don't thrust upon the decision on them and they say, no, you do it. That has been very wrong. Unfortunately, I have served, I have seen number of times, I have been Army headquarters, I have been perspective planning, dealt with the things. I am not casting any expression, but these are the inadequacies. They remain with us even today. And I don't think, unless we change our attitude, unless we change our mindset.
Tehseen Poonawalla, would you want to respond to the Lieutenant General on how dare Mr. Rahul Gandhi question the army for not taking arms when the pact was signed not once, not twice, but 4 times, with Congress government itself being in a position of power?
Thank you, ma'am, for having me on your show. And I just want to read out something to you, which right now, about 3 minutes ago, the niece of an army man who's at the moment serving in Ladakh has sent. Want me to tell this to you, ma'am. She's actually sent this to me right now, and she wants me to tell this. It's very important to do with this topic while she's watching this show right now. And she says to me, her uncle is serving at the moment in Ladakh. She says to me, the fact that China is at this moment, while we are on Times Now, in the Galwan Valley, which is an integral part of India, has never been in dispute since 1962. Does this man not show that this is an intelligence failure of the government? She further writes, and she wants me to ask the government representative, which here is Sambit Patra, why was he lying on national television that China is not in the Galwan Valley time after time? The third point she wants to ask is,
why don't you respond? Why don't you respond? I will, please pass me the number of this lady. I will speak to her. I will speak to her.
This is the need. Can you let, put this point out. She wants me to tell you this. She's asked now the third question. So A, Sambit Patra lies. B, they are at Galwan Valley, which has not happened 62. And the third question is, she says this agreement 93, 96, 2005, is this the reason why 2020 our soldiers are martyred? That never happened in 45 years. So I end by saying, Anand, if he fell into the Yamuna, would be a misfortune. If somebody pulled him out, would be a tragedy. So get to discussing 2020 and ask the failures of Narendra Modi and Ajit Doval rather than blaming the opposition. Grow a spine, Anand, and grow a spine, Dr. Sambit.
Dr. Patra.
Thank you, ma'am.
Dr. Patra, respond to Tehseen Poonawalla.
First and foremost, I would not respond to Tehseen Poonawalla because this is not the way relatives of military men communicate. This is a very serious issue. This is not the way. But let's come to the topic. Well, yes, I was just listening to some of the eminent personalities on your channel and I was aghast. Wherever there is a mistake in any past agreement, be it LOC, be it LAC, be it Sharm el-Sheikh, be it Kashmir, there is a fingerprint, there is a footprint of the Congress party. I don't want to carry any kind of misgiving with, I don't want to have any kind of tussle between the diplomats and the army men. That's a separate issue altogether. But the footprint is of Congress always. As far as Rahul Gandhi is concerned, Navika, I know, you know, Anand knows, even Ashutosh knows, we all know, India knows that Rahul does not know. But does China and Pakistan know that Rahul does not know? They milk Rahul's ignorance, in fact, for their own benefit. I mean, look, remember the first sentence of after abrogation of Article 370, the dossier that was sent by Pakistan to UN had the first line of Rahul, first line had the name of Mr. Rahul Gandhi saying that Mr. Rahul Gandhi says that there is a great deal of disturbance in Jammu and Kashmir after abrogation of Article 370. Umpteen number of times foreign forces have used sentences of ignorance of Mr. Rahul Gandhi. And he does not only not know, but he shamelessly showcases his ignorance. Most importantly, my question is, have you ever heard of a MOU between two political parties? I mean, I've heard of a MOU between countries. But here is a MOU in 2008, 7th of August, where you have Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi attending Beijing Xi Jinping, the then General Secretary of CPC, signing an agreement along with Mr. Rahul Gandhi that we, the Gandhi family and the Xi Jinpings and the CPC have to come close together. On a party-to-party basis, we should share the international affairs. Why? Why on God's sake is the question. And lastly, since even Jon Snow is present in the show, I would disagree today with Mr. Anand Ranganathan. Well, yes, Jon Snow knows nothing, but Ashutosh is not the Jon Snow. Jon Snow needs a haircut. Jon Snow needs a haircut and he needs to be sent to the wall to protect the wall. He's not needed here. Thank you.
Ashutosh, since the dig has been taken at you, would you want to respond to Dr. Patra?
No, I promised Anand Ranganathan that one day I'll come to JNU and have a cup of coffee with him, and he has been gracious enough to agree to that. And in fact, the day before yesterday, he congratulated me for writing a good article in NDTV, and he said, we'll again sit with the vada. So from coffee, it has gone to the coffee and the vada. See,
So
what Rahul Gandhi is saying is not my headache.
The Jon Snow altercation has been buried?
No, that will continue. Don't worry about
Please,
that.
no more the Jon
I think we are
Snow
democrat enough to understand each other's viewpoints and respect that.
All right.
My point is very simple. Navika, I just have to one point. And I want the Honorable Lieutenant General who's there on a panel, and I heard him very, very carefully. I just want to know one thing. When the government of India will promise that the Galwan Valley, which has been captured by the Chinese, is going to be vacated by Indian army. I'm not interested in anything else. What Rahul Gandhi is saying, it's useless for me. For me, most important thing is that Indian soil has been captured by Chinese. I want that soil to be acquired again. I'm feeling ashamed that मेरी जमीन जो है वो चाइनीज ने कब्जा कर ली है. ये जमीन हमारी है. हमारे 20 जवानों ने अपनी जान दी है इसके लिए, और जब तक हम इस जमीन को वापस नहीं ले लेते तब तक इस देश के प्रधानमंत्री को
और जमीन आप वापस लेंगे कैसे आशुतोष जी? रोज सुबह उठ के आर्मी से सवाल पूछ के उसी आर्मी को नीचा दिखा के, जैसे आप आज कर रहे हैं रिटायर्ड लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल से ये सवाल पूछ के कि हम वापस कब लेंगे, वो राहुल गांधी रोज सुबह उठ के करते हैं. आप जाएंगे वहां लेने के लिए, राहुल गांधी जाएंगे वहां लेने के लिए कि आप डिपेंड करेंगे अपने आर्मी के जवानों पर, उन्हीं मेजर्स पर, उन्हीं कर्नल्स पर, उन्हीं लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल्स पर और उन्हीं सारे अफसरों पर जो रोज उस बॉर्डर पर खड़े होकर आपकी सुरक्षा के लिए वहां खड़े होकर अपनी जान देते हैं. आई वांट टू गेट इन फॉर्मर डेप्यूटी चीफ ऑफ आर्मी स्टाफ गुरमीत सिंह जी. गुरमीत सिंह जी, आई वांट टू आस्क यू, व्हाई डोंट यू रिस्पॉन्ड टू मिस्टर आशुतोष who is asking lofty questions of a retired lieutenant general who doesn't want to go by the facts that have been disclosed by him but wants to make this a platform for insulting the army? Well, he may say, I don't care about Rahul Gandhi, but the DNA stinks of the same DNA which every day erodes the country's faith in the Jawans and that wants to insult and let down our Jawans. Gurmeet Singh ji.
Navika ji, let's be clear about one thing. The topic of national security is serious and sensitive issue. This is not the topic for internal politicking between political parties. Let's just be very clear. Secondly, this question which has been raised regarding capture, I would like to tell the gentleman that there is no capture involved as far as LAC is concerned. If you look at this word LAC, it's a line of actual control. But let me tell you what China has captured, and they have captured since 1950s. They have captured 37,555 square kilometers in excited. They have captured 500 square kilometers in area of Temchok. Total 38,000 square kilometers have been captured by them. And the gentleman should also take his mind to 6th November 2019, where the Home Minister of the nation said that this area of Aksaitin will be taken back. This is a red line we are told. And LAC is not about territory, it is not about capture, it is totally different ballgame. It is important for us to understand what is LAC. and LAC.
No.
There's a differing perception between both sides.
I want a simple question. Is Galvan Valley India's
Yes.
Jameen or Chinese Jameen?
Well, Mr. Ashutosh, if you read the Foreign Affairs Minister's statement yesterday, you will have the answer to your question. Problem is,
No, Navika.
problem is between Rahul Gandhi and you. You haven't read the statements made by the Indian government.
Soil or Chinese soil? I just want to ask this simple question. Galvan Valley belongs to India or Chinese?
Seconds, Navika, if you allow.
It belongs to
Dr.
India.
Patra.
Let me give you three reasons.
Ashutosh ji,
Are Chinese captured the Galvan Valley or not? Mr. Sushant Sarin, answer me that.
The general and
You
the
asked
people.
one question,
I just
let
did
me
tell
answer you.
Ashutosh ji, calm down.
One
No,
minute,
Sushant Sarin,
one minute, General Gurmeet Singh first and Mr. Patra, I'm coming to you.
Okay.
General Gurmeet Singh.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes, he asked me a question. Does Galwan Valley belongs to India? Yes. In fact, I would say Aksai Chin in entirety, the amount of land which I said belongs to India. Galwan Valley is named on Ghulam Rasool Galwan. It is an Indian person. His name is also Indian. In fact, whatever the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of China has told in reference to this incident of 15 June and regarding this area is a total lie. What China has been doing, they've been creeping, scribbling, and trying to come ahead in the LAC since 50s they have been doing. Let's understand one thing, that China is expert in media warfare, psychological warfare, and propaganda. Let's not be victim to the propaganda of China. Let this thing be very clear about. In
Well,
fact, now,
hands are going up. Dr. Patra first and then Sushant Sarin. Dr. Patra.
I'll just take 10 seconds to say that I, in fact, was aghast when I heard what Mr. Ashutosh had to say. The exact words used by Ashutosh were, I am ashamed today that land of India has been taken up and usurped by Chinese. Who said that to you, Mr. Ashutosh? Did the Indian Army said that our lands have been taken? And why are you ashamed of Indian Army? Are you not aware of the fact that Indian Army is one of the bravest army of the world? Don't you believe in the Indian Army? Why are you ashamed of being an Indian, is my question. And secondly, my question to both Ashutosh and Rahul Gandhi is, whom do they believe? They don't believe the Indian Army. They don't believe the Foreign Minister. They don't believe the Home Minister. They have no faith on the Defense Minister. The Prime Minister did his spies. So whom do you believe is my question?
Ashutosh, respond.
I want to ask Samit Patra, Galvan Valley is with India or with China? Answer my question.
With India. With India, Ashutosh.
Is it not captured by Chinese?
It is not captured by Chinese, Ashutosh. We are
Then
sure.
why the Lieutenant
Sushant Sarin is putting his hand on his head. Sushant Sarin.
Samit Patra, answer my question. Then why the Indian soldiers have gone there and
My
told
God,
them
look
to
at
leave
Ashutosh shouting
this
as if
place?
he's Xi Jinping.
Why the Indian soldiers
No,
have sent
Mr.
out there
Ashutosh,
and
you are not
asked the
Xi
Chinese
Jinping.
to leave that place?
No, don't interrogate me as if you are Xi Jinping.
No. Because
these are
you're lying
important
on a
issues.
TV
Leave it
channel.
to government.
Ashutosh
Ji, I'm giving you a reply. Don't be Ashutosh.
You are lying.
For God's sake, you are a senior.
You belong to the
Who said I'm lying? Who said I'm lying?
Who rules the country?
No, who said
You are
I'm lying? Navika, let me please. Sushant ji is a senior person who is waiting to come in. I don't want to.
That Galvan Valley is not captured by India.
This is not what I'm going to take lying down. Allow me a few seconds.
No, don't lie down. Don't lie down and please respond. Please respond to Ashutosh.
Let you go like this.
2 seconds.
Navika
And then
can let
Sushant
you
ji comes in.
know.
I don't want to come in the way of
Let you go like
Sushant
this.
ji. Just
I
a
will
second.
I
Ashutosh,
know
you are
you're
a grown-up man, Ashutosh. Please don't behave like Rahul
Is it not
Gandhi. Please.
captured by India?
I'm answering your question.
Then why did
Ashutosh ji, I'm answering your question. Please don't shout. I'm answering
this place.
Okay, I'm answering your question. Let me answer. Navika, who said that Galvan Valley has been taken away from India? Did anyone
Ashutosh.
else say? Am I the expert? Just a second. Am I the expert?
Ask
Are we
Sushant
supposed to
Sarin.
draw our own conclusions?
He's there.
And why do these people derive sadistic pleasure in saying that India's land
Samit
has been
Patra,
taken? Indian
don't
PM
play
is
with-
hiding.
don't play with
Indian
the emotion
PM
of
is
this country.
Jadpur. Why do
Samit
these
Patra,
people
you should
take
be ashamed.
sadistic
Don't
pleasure?
play with the
These
emotion of the
people
country.
derive
You
sadistic
guys are
pleasure
playing with-
whenever they feel that
playing with
India has
fire.
been let down.
You are playing
But let
with
me
fire.
assure you,
मातृभूमि
by
के साथ
buying
अपमान
words
कर
from
रहे
what
हैं।
the Prime Minister
आप
said
मातृभूमि
yesterday,
के साथ अपमान
that
कर रहे हैं।
अगर हमारे
हमारे
देश की
देश की
संप्रभुता
जमीन
के
ली गई है और
साथ
आप लोग
हमारे
देश से
देश
झूठ
की
बोल रहे हैं।
अखंडता के साथ कोई भी खिलवाड़
समझ पात्रा,
करेगा तो
आप
हम
आपकी
शक्ति
सरकार
प्रदर्शन
झूठ
भी
बोल रही
करेंगे।
है।
आशुतोष, दिस इज इंडिया ऑफ 2020।
आप झूठ झूठ
not
बोल रहे
of
हैं
1962,
चैनल पर
not
आके।
of
तो आप
Tata
सवाल क्यों
Nehru.
पूछते हैं
आप
जब
बोल
आपको
India.
मानना ही नहीं है किसी की बात? आप सवाल पूछते क्यों हैं आशुतोष जी? Let me get in Sushant Sareen and Tehseen Poonawalla. Sushant Sareen, you were putting your hand on your head. Now we have two Johnnies who are questioning whether Galwan Valley is India's or not, or whether the Chinese have captured and gone home and gone to sleep now, and India is just sitting here twiddling their thumbs, and the entire army brass there has nothing to say, nothing to do anymore. Sushant Sareen, please enlighten the gentleman.
So I want to make a couple of points on the Galwan thing, and then I'll want to add something to what General Shikatkar was saying. So on the Galwan thing, if you go by what is the international boundary as of 1947, which includes Aksai Chain, then all of Galwan Valley is a part of India, and China is in occupation of a large part of the Galwan Valley. If, however, you go by the LAC as currently exists, the Galwan Valley, part of it falls on the Chinese side of the LAC, part of it on the Indian side, and going by the latest satellite imagery, on the LAC, there has been a scrap right on the LAC, but the Chinese, bulk of the Chinese forces, in fact, almost the entire lot of the Chinese forces are on their side of the LAC, and the Indian forces on our side. There have been some areas along the LOC, especially in Pangong So, where the Chinese have moved beyond what is, into areas which we believe they have violated the LAC. That is a problem. But on Galwan, as of today, whatever the satellite imagery is, the Chinese have not, they are on their side of the LAC, and a large part of the Galwan Valley falls onto their side of the LAC.
The answer suits you, Tehseen Poonawalla. Does the answer suit you, Tehseen Poonawalla? Because Tehseen Poonawalla has this question going out to every retired army man. He has the question going out just like Mr. Rahul Gandhi to everybody, in the army today, because he hasn't done his research. He hasn't seen the satellite images that were put out even yesterday on the news hour when he was on the show.
I would like to respond to Sareen, sir, who I have a lot of respect with. And please, Ashutosh bhai, let me Ashutosh bhai, please let me speak. Navika, I have a lot of respect for Sareen, sir. So my simple submission
Thank
to
God
Sareen,
somebody
sir,
on earth that you have respect for, apart from Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra.
Tehseen also respects you, Navika, don't worry.
I also have a lot of respect for you, man. I also have a lot of respect for you. Therefore, Sareen, sir,
I'm in the same club.
To you, sure, thank you, ma'am. My simple question to Sareen, sir, is this. Sareen, sir, may I please speak? Thank you. Since 1962, the Galwan Valley, the area that India controls, was patrolled by India incidentally. The External Affairs Ministry press release makes it very clear that China trespassed into the area India controls where they had pitched their tents. Now, therefore, my simple question to you, sir, is when China transgressed and came into Indian territory, did that not violate and the BJP lied? And two, sir, according to China, Arunachal is also disputed. Will we tolerate China entering Arunachal Pradesh?
Well, Sushant Sareen, avoid the Arunachal Pradesh, because we will now have to go back to 1947 and come, up to 2020 to explain Arunachal Pradesh to Tehseen Poonawalla. But transgressions are why we are in a confrontation. And that's been the situation since the 5th of May. What part of this doesn't really get into Mr. Tehseen Poonawalla's head?
No, Navika, this whole issue of transgression, and that is why I want to come to what the general was saying. See, when the first agreements were signed way back in 93, I think there was a presumption of good faith. There was a presumption that, we are making a kind of a strategic move, and there was a presumption that the Chinese will stick to their side of the bargain. I think subsequently, all those presumptions and assumptions have proven to be hollow. The mistake we have been making is that we have been reinforcing failure in every subsequent agreement which we have signed with the Chinese. Now, one reason for that is that every time a high-level visit has to take place, there is this pressure that there must be an agreement, no matter what. This was the similar pressure during Agra when Musharraf had come, and almost the BJP government was going to sign a deal with the Musharraf guy, which would have been a millstone around India's neck. And at that point of time, I know the man will deny it, Ambassador Vivek Karju was the man who tried and convinced these people that this would be a disaster, and the government stepped back and Musharraf had to go back empty-handed. This is the kind of thing we should have also followed with the Chinese after experience after experience.
So Sushant Sareen, let me ask you, when the Lieutenant General talks about J.N. Dixit and Shiv Shankar Menon,
can I make one last point?
No, I want to ask you, considering these two people were involved in the 1993 agreement and then subsequently between 2005 2013, you know what positions they really held in the UPA government as NSAs and as foreign secretary.
Which is precisely, Navika, which is precisely why I'm saying we continue to reinforce failure. And the thing was that we had already experienced what the Chinese were doing. I think we should have drawn a line in the sand many years back. Even if we do it today, I think we would have woken up to the reality that the Chinese do not want good relations with us. They want our markets. They want to literally, hollow out our economy. They want to do all of that, but they don't want to have peace with India. So on the borders, they keep making the push, and in the markets, they keep making the push. We should have woken up to this reality 10, 15 years back. I hope even if today we wake up to this reality, I think it would have been a good thing for us to happen. Unfortunately, I sometimes feel that we continue to make the same mistakes repeatedly again and again, and we always fall for this nonsense that agreement hona chahiye. There must be some agreement. There must be some deal, which is why you did something in Sharm el-Sheikh, which is literally it's more Sharm than Sheikh as far as Sharm el-Sheikh is concerned, because we signed something which we should have never signed. And the then Foreign Secretary
Tanveer Ahmed, the experts are there from the army, people who understand diplomacy, everybody stands by the position that was taken, that existing line of control as said by the General Kanetkar and Sushant Sareen. Ambiguity has ruled. You fell into that trap in 1996. The Congress was supporting you, and today Rahul Gandhi gets up in the morning and asks the same question on agreement that he had signed. I want to ask you, Tanveer Ahmed, shouldn't opposition leaders just do their homework before they take pot shots? And let me show you a fact check. When in 2005 this decision was taken and this agreement was signed, Mr. Rahul Gandhi was an exalted member of the Parliamentary Committee of Home. And if border management is an issue where he had any objections, he had all the time between 2004 and 2006 when he was on this parliamentary committee to raise objections to these kind of agreements where India's sovereignty and territorial integrity could have been challenged. Mr. Tanveer Ahmed, he didn't do that. And today he has the guts to get up and ask Prime Minister Modi on why our braves were sent unarmed to the border.
Firstly, let me quote Lieutenant General Ahluwalia, who said that if the breach of contract is broken by either of the party, you can definitely use weapons. I think Rahul Gandhi was referring to that. And second thing, the enemy and as well as the opposition have really understood the vulnerability of this government. They want to keep the perceptions right. See, after all the failures, 20 martyrs are dead. Nobody is asking any question to Narendra Modi, but we would shoot questions at Rahul Gandhi. We would call names to opposition. This is not the way you run the government, and nobody is questioning the brave soldiers. But we are definitely going to question the vulnerability of this government, which wants to keep the optics and the perception right, which is definitely not going to help the government as well as India. As a citizen of this country, Mr. Ashutosh and myself and Tehseen Poonawalla do have all the right. And why are they really shying away from answering the question? Is any portion of the Galwan Valley is being captured? You are not going to answer it. You are going to really gumify. Nobody is questioning the army. Please make a note. But it is the duty of the government of the day. I think that let Sambit Patra answer. Now, Anand is, why are you going to answer behalf of Sambit Patra? I think Sambit Patra should answer. It's a legitimate question and we have all the right to ask you a question. It is your failures.
Dr.
You can't
Patra.
really write on the values of this army.
Dr.
Please.
Patra will answer.
So why don't you all have patience? Today is 18th and tomorrow is 19th. Tomorrow you have a virtual meeting with the Prime Minister. Why can't you hold your horses till you ask the question to the Prime Minister? Is this the way responsible citizens of the country behave? You ask questions on television debates, you ask questions of national interest on Twitter. Is this your responsibility? Number one. Number two, I have said, a umpteen number of times repeated, that you don't believe the Prime Minister when he says that हमारी अखंडता और संप्रभुता के खिलाफ कोई भी खड़ा हो सकता है. You don't believe when the Home Minister and the Defence Minister, Raksha Mantri, categorically have said that not an inch of our land has been taken and will not be allowed to be taken. When the Army Chief comes out and says that we are there fighting on the borders along the LAC and they have not crossed the LAC, you don't believe them. When the DGMO holds a press conference and says that we have had a surgical strike, you say this is Khoon ki dalali. Whom are you supposed to be briefed by? Do you want Xi Jinping to come and brief you? I should call Mr. Rahul Gandhi the Lannisters. You know, all this Gandhi Parivar is nothing but a Lannister family. Soon they will be banished by India. Let me tell you, Rahul, and Anand Ranganathan, let me tell you at the end, the wall that you thought probably is not the wall that I meant. It is not the ice wall I wanted Jon Snow to go. The Jon Snow who needs a haircut needs to go to the Chinese wall, the Great Wall of China. Thank you.
Well, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, I want to ask you, is it a coincidence once again that 1993, 1996, 2005, 2008, 2013, all the Chinese border management pacts have a Congress hand in it? Number one. Number two, when all the Chinese companies came into India in 2005, and I've done stories on this for the Times of India, even before this channel was launched, about how there were objections from the intelligence agencies, how there were objections from the R&AW, yet telecom companies were allowed to come into very sensitive equipment sale in India. I want to ask you, they didn't prevent Chinese companies, they didn't prevent anything in these border agreements. And Rahul Gandhi gets up every morning and asks questions to the army, to the Prime Minister on what was happening, why were they unarmed?
Navika, I hope you will also let me speak.
Navika, I just beg 30 seconds off you. Now, Ashutosh, please, can I was completely silent while you were
Coffee और वड़े की कसम, अभी बीच में मत बोलिए.
Please.
Coffee or vade ki kasam, my God.
Especially when Sushant Sareen has completely demolished Ashutosh's arguments. But this is to answer what you have asked. So let me take 30 seconds. Navika, the other center of our foreign policy, which has made other nations our enemies, is China. India is made to fight China's battle for entering the United Nations Organization as a permanent member thereof. This is an extraordinary thing. Why should India fight the battle of China when China is quite capable of fighting her own battle? This championing of the cause of communist China by India has been responsible for the prevailing antagonism between India and America, with the result that it has become impossible for India to obtain financial and technical aid from America. India's first duty should be to herself. Instead of fighting to make communist China a permanent member of the UNO, India should fight for getting herself recognized as the permanent member of the UNO. Instead of doing this, India is spending herself in fighting a battle of Mao as against Chiang Kai-shek. This quixotic policy of saving the world is going to bring about the ruination of India. And the sooner this suicidal foreign policy is reversed, the better for India. Before championing the cause of Asiatic countries, India must strive every nerve, must seek every aid to make herself strong. Only then will her voice be effective. You know who said this?
But what about Rahul Gandhi?
You know when he
what about Rahul Gandhi, Dr. Anand Ranganathan?
Navika, I think
so. Nothing has changed as far as Congress party is concerned vis-a-vis their relationship with China. And you know, Chinese may or may not be there in Galwan, but they certainly have infiltrated your panel tonight.
Is it true?
I can spot two of them. They need to be driven out.
Will we use the army for that? Will we trust the army to do that, or will we have to do it ourselves?
Only Sushant. Sushant.
Well, Ashutosh, yeah. I want to ask you this question. You know, this holier than thou attitude that is taken about, you know, who let our soldiers down? Why did they go unarmed? You know, isn't this hypocrisy? Dil pe haath rakh ke boliye na.
Ashutosh, apologize first.
मैं बताऊं,
पहले इनसे माफी मंगवाइए.
पहले तो मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं कि the politicians and the minister, they have lot of stake in burying truth and investing in lies. So whatever is said by the politician, I know.
2 weeks ago, the same my good friend Ashutosh was saying that 10,000 Chinese have come in.
Government has lot more to hide today, and person like Anand Raghunathan.
अरे झूठ कौन बोल रहा है आशुतोष जी? 10,000 चाइनीज अंदर आ गए, गलवान वैली ले गया. झूठ बोल कौन रहा है यहाँ पे? आप और तहसीन.
Why our 20 soldiers have died, had martyred. The country should know why our land has been captured by Chinese.
Sushant Sarini still hasn't understood after the primer you gave him. Please explain to him. One more time, please explain.
To teach them a lesson. But the problem is, the person like
Navika, he's made up his mind. He doesn't want to listen to anybody. What can I say to him? He's made up his mind that he's going to behave like a rabble-rouser on your television channel as though he's attending some kind of an election rally. He used to be a reasonably good journalist at one point of time, but ever since he joined the Aam Aadmi Party, something is really gone wrong with him. So he's actually doing rabble-rousing. He doesn't want to listen to anybody.
All right, try your luck with Tehseen Poonawalla. Try your luck with Tehseen Poonawalla. He only supports a political party and a political family. He hasn't joined any political party yet. So kindly explain to Tehseen Poonawalla, take a shot at it and try and convince him कि अभी हमने कुछ नहीं खोया है.
One second. No, there is a problem in one or two sectors. There's no doubt about it. Galwan is not that sector. But on to Tehseen, I must say one thing. You know, he is jeopardizing the career of the officer whose sister or wife or whoever he is quoting. Because I have a lot of family in the army, or had a lot of family in the army, and none of the people in the army ever used to tell their relatives what exactly the situation was on the front, they wouldn't even say whether they were in the forward post or they were at the base. Now, for somebody to have disclosed sensitive information to their relatives, obviously on an open line, is criminal. And if he tells you the name of that lady and people get to know about it, the officer will lose his job. That is what is going to happen. So Mr. Tehseen Poonawalla should be little careful when he starts quoting these kind of people.
Well, I don't remember the last time he's rooted for an army man, and he's probably taking lessons from Rahul Gandhi. But we have breaking news coming in on the show. Well, the anger against China is palpable. Pan-India, a day after we broke the story on the news hour, Telecom Ministry is the first one to set the ball rolling to isolate China by boycotting Chinese companies. Yesterday, we informed you how BSNL was going to cancel and rework its tender for 4G upgradation and exclude Chinese company. There is more breaking news coming in. The Telecom Ministry has now called private telecom operators for a meeting next week. Yes, it's going to be a virtual meeting perhaps. This to advise them to cancel their current existing contracts with Chinese equipment, and where that is not possible, to avoid Chinese equipment manufacturers to supply them equipment. Anand Ranganathan. Railways cancels one set of signaling equipment. Telecom companies now being pushed by the Telecom Ministry. You think this is what should have happened long ago?
Yes, Navika, please give me a couple of minutes, because it's quite an interesting thing. You know, I've said this before many times. I remain an advocate for free trade and globalization, for that is the only way of eradicating poverty. But it cannot be at the cost of our economy, our health, our security. China has crossed a line, maybe multiple lines. It must pay for ruining the world economy with intent. I say with intent, because even though I do not blame it for being the place where SARS-CoV-2 originated, there is overwhelming evidence that China hid from the world the extent and danger that was posed by this virus, including willfully spreading it across the world. And as if this wasn't bad enough, it is now threatening our security, buying our neighbors, encircling us. We need to teach this bully a lesson. I think Modi did a great job to pull out of RCEP, effectively, which was a free trade agreement with China, a known currency manipulator that props up its companies underhand, indulging in unfair trade practices. But in boycotting, we must be careful. China has over decades entrenched itself in global trade practices. You know,
nobody is saying it's going to be easy, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, but the first steps have been taken, and we will see more of that action, because if somebody crosses the line, then economics is where they get hurt. That's the game plan, and that is what people in India are rooting for. As I thank all my panelists tonight, I leave you with these pictures of a final goodbye to our brave soldiers. No questions, absolutely no doubts expressed. All this country wants to say is, we have faith in them, and we thank them for protecting the motherland.